In this video, I'm going to talk about the unboxing of my new Creality K1 Max, my first Core XY printer. I'm not too new to 3D printing. It's been making me a little money for the past couple of years. I have slowly expanded from my first resin DLP printer to FDM, and now I am finally getting my first Core XY printing machine. I got this from a distributor here in Japan. The price seemed to be fair, and it came within a matter of days. The packaging was great, no issues there. And opening it out of the box, I could see that it was, a pretty solid machine. I bought this to get a larger build platform. I've started to get more requests for larger pieces, cosplay, props and such. Several options available, and after doing a little research, not a little, actually quite a bit, I settled on the Creality K1 Max. One of the main reasons was because it has been through a couple of iterations from the original K1, the K1 CR, and now the Max. And actually, when I bought this, I did know that the K2 was coming out with a slightly larger build platform. This is a 300 by 300 by 300, and the K2 is coming out with multicolor capabilities, and also 350 by 350 by 350, which is very, very enticing. But from my experience, better to wait for the second iteration or third of that machine before jumping on it. If I have to nitpick, as you can see from this part of the video, the extruder is all assembled. Actually, everything is pretty much assembled. That's part of the reason why I purchased this one. But yeah, it's pretty well put together initially looking at it. But if I have to be picky, you can see that this extruder hose is bent. And not just bent, but it actually has a little crook in it. From my prior research, I know that this is one of the issues with this machine. The runout sensor is not directly attached. It's not in the extruder, so you do have a little play before it actually runs out, which is fine. But this also adds to the tension on the filament. This does add to the tension on the filament as it's going into the extruder. This machine comes with the filament hose and everything connected, but it clearly tells you not to crook or bend the hose. And right out of the box, it comes bent. And not just bent, but it actually has a little crook in it. And so it's okay. I usually would, replace this hose. That's just from my experience with filament FDM printing. You're going to, have to replace the hose sometime, either to expand on your system or to make it more accessible for whatever type of filament feeding system you've got. But out of the box, seeing this was not very positive. I have to be honest. I wasn't really happy about that because, for someone who's new to the printing world, you might not have all of this extra equipment to expand the hose or to replace this. Fortunately, I've got tons of filament hose, but the what is this, PTFE tubes. But it is quite disappointing, and it could be an issue for someone who's new to the 3D printing world. Yeah, you could see that this is not just a little bend, it's actually crinkled, and so yeah, that's gonna have to be cut and just to make sure there are no issues. I think the inner diameter on this hose is at 2.5 millimeters, which, yeah, that's just enough to, possibly have an issue with the filament as it's running through. Aside from the PTFE issue, it comes with a pretty cool accessory kit. Standard, but it does come with everything you need to get up and running. This kit actually came with the upgraded unicorn nozzle, so I read that, that was also an issue with some people with this printer, and I'm glad it did come with this upgraded nozzle. This is the unicorn nozzle. This was my first venture into the Core XY world. There are several options out there. I settled on this one because of the open architecture. It seems like everything, all the parts are, easily accessible, and you've got plenty of room to upgrade to your heart's content. For me, I've always used PRUSAs. The PRUSA alternative is a little out of my budget. I just wanted a larger build platform, and this was, gonna help me build some pretty large props. This was my first experience with a pre-built machine. I mean, out of the box, I expected this to be ready to go, and it looks like it was ready to go. I was kind of shocked that it didn't have the runout sensor in the extruder, but I'd read about that, so I didn't think it was going to be too much of an issue. But I was a little disappointed. As you can see here, the extruder, the hose, is leading into the extruder from the top. And you can see this, I don't know if this is 45 degree, this little angle. And this was something that I read about. When you do add the, which I like, the glass lid, yeah, it is touching. And this could cause a little tension as the filament is being fed into the extruder. Now, with the runout sensor being so far away from the extruder, in the back of the case, this was a concern. So this is why I decided to print out this K1 Max 90 degree bend, thinking that this would alleviate this tension, thinking this would lead to a smoother experience for the filament to be fed into the extruder. So I put one of my machines to work. If I'm not mistaken, I think I printed this one out in ASA. And this is just to make sure that the heat from being inside this enclosure wasn't going to be an issue. I've got enough filament, so yeah, this is not much of a problem. So this is the site I bought mine from. I'm in Japan, so I used Rakuten, and this company had a pretty cool campaign where after you receive your product, you leave a little comment in their feedback, and then you get, instead of a 1-year warranty, it gets extended to a 1.5 years. So I thought that was nice. As you can see, the price here, this when I purchased it was 119,000 yen. This is a little under $1,000, I guess. And they do primarily work only with Creality machines. For me, this is something important because I didn't want a company that was just selling whatever they could sell. And the feedback from this website, from Rakuten, it seems like everyone's happy with the service. So with the heat generated from this machine, I wanted to print out a riser, one to hold the glass a little bit higher off of the extruder, and also to help alleviate some of that issue, some of the problem with the heat in this machine. I think a lot of the improvements for these machines are found on the company sites. I'm not promoting any one over another. I was happy to find this riser from Creality's site. It's kind of like PRUSA's Printables or Bambu's Maker World. And this seemed to be the best one that I thought would fit my aesthetic. So threw it in the PRUSA slicer, put this on my PRUSA machines, and hope to see you back to see the results and my first test print. Thanks for tuning in. I'm hoping to really enjoy printing with my new machine, and I'll get back to you later with the next video.